Hello and welcome back everyone. So this video will be in continuation to the Try Hack Me walkthrough series. Today we will be solving a room called Zero Day. The name of the room itself suggests the use of some infamous zero day exploit, whatever it may be, since zero day attacks are those attacks for which a patch has not been released by the developers yet. So let's dive right into it. First, let me increase the font. Okay. So we'll start by performing a basic Nmap scan. Nmap SV and the IP. SV is again the default script scan, SV is the version scan, ON is just for the output format, and then map initial is the name of the file of the output. So while the scan is going on, we can open Firefox and check to see if there is a web server. We'll just paste the IP. So there is a simple page. I don't think there's much to it. This whole page is an image. So we'll first check for some cookies. There are no cookies, so we'll just sorry, check for a robots.txt file. You really thought it would be this easy. So there is nothing in the robot.txt file. So now that we know there's a web server, we can perform a GoBuster directory brute force. And we also have the results of our Nmap scan. So port 22 is open running SSH and port 80 is open running the HTTP server which we were just on. There are some other ports also, some unknown services. Well, all of these ports are filtered, so we can't do anything about it. So let's first get started with a GoBuster directory brute forcing. GoBuster dir. W specifies the word list. U for the URL. The URL was 240. Since the web page is hosted on port 80, we don't need to specify an additional port number here like 80 because generally the web page is hosted on port 80. If the web page was hosted on suppose port 8000 or port 8080, then we would have to specify it. So we'll also specify the number of threads. The default number of threads is 10, which is quite slow. So I like to amp it up to about 100. If you start getting errors, then I would suggest decrease the number of threads. We can give some additional parameters such as PHP and TXT. Like I like to check every name with a PHP extension and again the same name with a TXT extension. So I'll just go with PHP here and O because I like to document everything. So while this is going on, we can also start a Nikto scan and we can already see that we are getting results back. Backup can be interesting. So we'll also start a Nikto scan. It specifies the host. Okay, so Nikto scan generally takes some time. So while this is going on, we can now check the server for all the directories which we have discovered just now. We'll check the admin panel. Looks like nothing. Even the source has nothing. We'll look at the backup folder. Begin RSA private key. So in the backup folder, we have the private key for RSA. I don't particularly see a lot of use for this right now, so I'll let it be. If you want, you can copy it for later use, but if I want it, I'll just again come back here and take it. We have CGI bin, CSS, robots.txt. We already saw robots.txt. There's a directory called secret. this directory just has an image. I'll save this image. I can use StegCracker or StegHide or StegOverData to extract any information that might be hidden in this image. And there's also the upload directory. It's uploads. And that is also empty. Okay, so now let's move on. So the turtle image which we downloaded is in PNG format. StegHide does not support PNG format. We can just look for anything in the metadata, or we'll also run strings command on the turtle image. There's nothing very useful here. Just scrolling up and up and up. Okay, so there's full here. But it looks like Nictoscan has found something important. So it is saying that CGI bin test.cgi site appears to be vulnerable to shell shock vulnerability. So shell shock was discovered in 2014 and was a huge security bug causing Bash to execute commands from environment variables. This vulnerability basically allowed attackers to issue commands to the server and the server would execute them. So in a way, they could get the server to do anything, even reach out to the attacker itself and do any kind of malicious stuff. Okay, so this is interesting. We most probably can use this to exploit this box. You can read about Shellshock. I'll share the link below. So I performed my research before making the video, and we can use both the user agent header and the referrer header to get the bash shell to execute our commands. So what I'm going to do here is just curl to the server with a malicious user agent header. So it goes like curl, H is for header, user agent. So in Shellshock, this what I'm typing right now, this piece of code basically gets the bash shell to execute whatever is after this. So if suppose I were to ping myself, the server would ping me. I'll just demonstrate that, sort of like a proof of concept. All the proof of concepts are made when the vulnerability is discovered. So we can just start TCP dump. My bad. Sudo TCP IP. Okay. So now I'll just ping myself. C is for the count, as in the number of the packets it will send. And then I'll enter my IP address. And then the address of the page which I want to visit. I think I can now close the Nictoscan. Okay. CGI bin test.cgi. Wait a minute. Bin ping. And there you go. So as we can see that I got the server to ping me. So now that means that I have remote code execution, or it is also called arbitrary code execution, ACE. So next what we can do is invoke a reverse shell. So I'll do that now. I'll head over to Pentest Monkey's one-liner cheat sheet. And I'll use the bash shell. I'll just copy it I'll first start a listener. And instead of the ping command, now I'll paste the reverse one-liner. Change the IP to my IP. Change the port to 1337. And we get an error for some reason. I'll just change it to bin bash. Okay. So now that we have a shell on the box, I would first like go to the TMP directory and upload a enumeration script like linpiece or linenum. So now we can close this. I'll head to my enumeration scripts directory. We have linpiece here. So I'll just start a Python HTTP server. Now that the server is running on port 8000, I can use the curl command or wget command to reach out and grab the file. Capital O here creates a file with the same name, linpiece.sh. So I'll just change the attributes of this file. And I'll run it. But before that, let me close this so that we have more space. Okay, so now that the script is running, it will enumerate and show us a lot of output. Okay, right off the bat, scrolling up, right off the bat, we have a potential privilege escalation vector. This Linux version is very old, 3.13. So this was in Ubuntu 2014, 2012. So we can most probably exploit this. We can even dirty cow this, but dirty cow's exploits are very unstable and might even crash the system. I'm saying that out of both theoretical and practical knowledge because I tried dirty cow exploit myself and I crashed the system twice. So that didn't work for me. And you can scroll down, but in this case, we didn't find anything else useful except for the kernel version. If you didn't want to use an enumeration script, you could have also enumerated this manually using uname stack r. I'll show it to you once this enumeration script is done running. Okay, so while this is also going on, I can search for exploits available for this kernel version. So exploit Linux 3.13. So we have a lot of exploits. We see an SGID privilege escalation, but we don't have any SGID bit set files, so we can't use this. Then we have an overlays FS local privilege escalation. This seems like it should work. So we'll use this file, but this file is in C. So we'll need to first see if the machine has a compiler. Because if the machine does not have a compiler, we'll have to download a VM of the same kernel version and then compile it there and then upload it. So we'll just look for a GCC compiler. And we have it. We have GCC and GCC 4.8 installed. So we can use this exploit. So I'll just download this exploit to my local machine. exploit.c, and we've got exploit.c. So I'll now just create another HTTP server here and get it on that machine. Okay. Let's see if this enumeration script has completed. It's still working. Okay, so now we'll resume once the scan is done. Well, it's been a long time now and it seems to have hung, so I'll just cancel it. Okay, I'll have to start the listener again and I'll have to repeat the entire process. So I'll just, and we have our shell again. So now that we know what we have to do, I don't again have to run the scan because I know that the kernel version is clearly exploitable. So I'll just go to TMP directory again because that's where I like to download the stuff so that when the machine reboots, the TMP directory gets cleared. Okay, so I have got my server set up. I'll just use wget http 10.11.11. Now, since we have GCC on the box, as I showed earlier, we can compile this here using the command gcc pthread and the name of the file exploit.c and the output name exploit. Now this machine throws an error here. After researching quite a bit, I came to know that this is a path error. So if I suppose export the path, sorry, my bad. If I echo the path, there's a full stop at the end. So I'll just copy it from here till here and I'll export it. Now if we again run the compiling command, it should work fine. So now if I run the exploit, I see we have root ID UID 0 GID 0. So now that we are root, we can access both the flags, the user flag and the root flag. The user flag in the user directory, that is cd home, and then we'll have to see what the name of the user is, Ryan. And here is the user flag, so you can just scat it out. I won't be doing that. And the root flag is in the root directory, and that's the root flag. So thank you for being with us today. In this video, we exploited a room called 0day. If you liked this video, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And if you didn't, please comment what you didn't like about this video, and I'll try to improve. Thank you and have a good day.